to take this moment just to say, let yourself be found in the Lord. Let yourself be found in the Lord. Let yourself be found in His Word, in who He says you are, in His love, His grace, His mercy, His kindness. Let yourself be found at His feet. Let yourself be found at His feet. And just want to quickly add on to that, I think that's the shift myself and this ministry is going to be taking. Hey girls, I am Stembo Gutle and welcome to my channel at the Potter's Will TV. And I'm so happy that I'm just here. Like, it's just such a good day, such a productive day, just to record another video answering you guys' questions on the project Light Meets Salt. So I got some questions here and I'm gonna answer a little bit more about the project and give you guys some deets about it. Number one, share a little about yourself, background, and your pursuit in ministry. Okay, so I am a 20-year-old living in South Africa. I always grew up in a Christian home and went to church like 90% of my life. But my pursuit of ministry, I think, started when I was 19. That's when I really understood what ministry was really about. So I pursued ministry, I think, about 19 years old, and that's just basically my journey. I was, brought up in a Christian home, so it was always about God. In like our home, in our household, I went to church every time, and I was like volunteering to be like a youth, as a youth leader, as well as at one point I was in children's ministry. So it was really just something I was very interested in. But then at 19 years old, I decided, like, I want to do it full time. So the second question is, what is a typical day like in your life? Right now, since I'm trying to get the project running, and I feel like I'm doing a lot of work behind the scenes. So that may look like doing research, creating content so I can market the project, like, this YouTube video. So I'm just planning on doing things like administration work, making sure that when you ladies do sign up, you get your emails, you get your resources, you get your videos, you get what you actually pay for. So that's what basically I'm doing behind the scenes, because it's like a lot packed and I'm excited for that. Okay, so the third question is, what challenges have you had to overcome while starting your own company? And I believe the challenge I'm still facing or have not yet overcome is the feeling of loneliness when you're starting your own business, especially at 20, because not many people understand the vision that God has for you. So when you are explaining your business concept to many people, they kind of either shut it down or they don't quite know how to react, and in that sense they kind of distance themselves away from you, or they're just not really as helpful or as supportive as you would like them to be. So I think the feeling of loneliness has definitely been a challenge, but I believe I'm slowly overcoming it, because I am realizing that, what, if God is by my side and He says this is for you and this is what I want you to do, then it's okay to do it alone sometimes. You know what I mean? The next thing would be discipline, because one thing I've learned from my journey of having a job and then no longer having a job is that it's so easy to pour into other people's businesses or other people's companies, and like, waking up on time, putting in the effort, the time, and everything into that business, into that company, into somebody else's projects. But when it comes to my own, it feels like I'm, it's working for yourself. So you kind of like, I would say lenient, but it's more like you are not as productive in your own company, because when you're having a lazy day, you don't show up, or when you're having a good day, you also don't show up, you just don't want to work. And then that's kind of the struggle that I'm facing, the challenge I'm facing. It's still a challenge, so I have not yet overcome it, but I will soon overcome it. Next question. What was the inspiration for this project? I believe the inspiration was that many men and women were in my comment section telling me that my content truly inspires them. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So when I realized that I didn't have to have like 10K followers to actually impact people. So that was the start of the project. And then afterwards, God kind of gave me responsibilities. It made me realize that I had influence, especially around my siblings, the way I spoke to them. And if I said something and I repeated that thing over and over again, they would end up picking up on what I was saying. So that was some sort of influence. And on top of that, I felt like God was now putting me in a position where I had to now become a youth leader at church. So my influence just continuously growing, and that was the inspiration of this project, because I was like, I don't know how to do this. Well, at first I didn't know how to do this, and I realized that many people also don't know how to do this, and many people don't even realize the kind of influence they have. Obviously, for me, it started with realizing that the way I speak around my family and in my home was going to impact the next person. And maybe for you who's like watching this video, you're like, oh, I don't have influence because I don't have 10K followers or even 1K followers. The truth is, in your community alone, if you sit with the person for a while, that person can end up influencing you or impacting you in a certain way. If you can sit with the person for 5 minutes and they are speaking negativity all the way, you're gonna end up being impacted by the negativity throughout the day. That's influence, truthfully. So when God made me realize that, that was the inspiration for this project. So next question. What is the most exciting thing about your project? I believe the most exciting thing about my project is, I don't know, I believe it's helping women out, because God has truly revealed to me that he's more like pushing me to help women, and he's more guiding me to help women. So I think I'm more excited about that. But for women who are interested in the project, I believe it's the courses or the resources on how to start your own business. And I'll be giving like courses on how you can start your own website, your blog, all of that by yourself at a student-friendly budget. Because I know many of the students or many of the women that I'll be helping are students and will not be able to always afford having somebody write a blog for them or start their business for them, or even help them build a website. So I think that's the interesting part about the project. I think also it's me applying skills I've had to learn alone, like by myself, into the project or into the program and helping other women out. I think that's so exciting. Next question. Where do you see this project in 5 years? So I'm hoping to firstly end of this year with 50 women, but in 5 years, I hope to impact over 1,000 women. And on top of that, I hope for the program to grow, which means having more resources, gaining more knowledge so that I can apply it in the program and help more women out. So I'm excited for that. Next question. What is your understanding on ministry? My understanding on ministry, as I said before, as I mentioned before, ministry started at 19 for me. And that is when I understood that ministry is not just something you do on a Sunday, or you have to be a pastor to do it, or you have to have like a degree to do it. Ministry is serving God, and that's a lifestyle. So that's my understanding of ministry. It's living out a life of serving God, and that could be in your church, in your home, in your community. That is ministry. Yes, you can have a degree to it, you can add a degree to it and be active on Sundays as well, but the truth, or what I believe, is ministry is something you do all your life, so it's basically just a lifestyle. Okay. How have you grown in your walk with Christ since you started this ministry? I've grown. I listened to this podcast the other day about this, how this woman includes God in her business or in her ministry, and she said she has business meetings with God. So I was like, oh, okay, I want to implement that in my own business. So I would even schedule time like every Wednesday at like about 3 to 4 o'clock. God and I will sit down and we'll do minutes on the ideas I was having, the goals I wanted to achieve. On top of that, I was trying to come up with plans and strategies for that week, because it was a weekly kind of thing. So okay, at first it started like a weekly kind of thing, and then it became like maybe 2 times a week, maybe, and then 3 times a week, and then 4 times a week, and then now it's just something I just do almost every morning before I start even creating this kind of content, because this is for the project, this is for my ministry. So I sit down and with God and I say, God, this is what I'm planning, this is what I would like to do, and then we do minutes, and then I talk to God about it, I pray about it, and then apply scripture to it, and then pursue it. That's literally how this ministry has really been able to be sustained for this long. But the question is, how has it like helped me grow with Christ? And the answer to that is that it has helped me become more dependent on Him. When I sit down having those business meetings, it always reminds me that, you know what, me wanting to impact so many women is not going to happen in my own strength. It isn't going to happen by my own works, but rather by partnership with God. Because at the end of the day, I truly believe that God is the CEO of my business. The truth is, I truly believe that God is the CEO. He is the one who makes sure that everything is working. He gives me the ideas. So it really does make me dependent on Him. So that's how this has allowed me to grow closer to God with this ministry. Okay, what would you do to encourage young women or young Christian women to inspire, influence, and ignite change in our world, to pursue living an intentional lifestyle and live the life that God has called you to live? Next question. What is your advice for young women who want to be involved in this project? This project is for Christian young women who are either like studying or who are like fresh out of university or fresh out of high school. So it's between the age, it's for women between the ages of 18 and 24, 25. My advice for you, if you want to enjoy, like get involved in this project, is just to come with an open mind and to come knowing that we are going to talk about God and we're going to be very dependent on Him. So if that's something you're ready for, you're looking for a challenge as well, you're looking for an opportunity to grow closer with God and yet still grow your business, your ministry, I would definitely recommend coming with all of that, especially with openness and this friendliness to have a community, because you're gonna have a community, and come and get involved in the project. That's just my advice. Don't have to like bring all this baggage and all of that. No, just bring your relationship with God wherever it is, and your openness, and just come right through. What advice would you give to a young woman who wants to have purpose and destiny in life? My advice would be, again, pursue God. Live a life of live intentionally, and go to God about the fact that maybe you're feeling purposeless and you feel like you don't have any destiny in life. I would recommend going to God and sitting with Him and allowing Him to tell you what He wants you to do. And it's not going to always happen overnight and all of a sudden you have everything figured out and all of a sudden you have your dream job knocking on your door the next day. It's not going to happen like that for everyone. Maybe it may happen for someone, I don't know, but it's not going to happen for everyone. But when it does take its time, just remain in the presence of God and allow Him to, dwell within you, and start off small. You might find yourself like me, just serving in church, and then slowly becoming passionate about the Bible, and then sharing it online. And then soon now I'm starting a project. I started a whole company. surrounded on helping Christian young women. So it didn't just knock on my door the next day after I asked God about my purpose and my destiny in life. It took some time, and allow God to take that time with you. So that would be my advice for any woman out there who is looking for purpose and destiny in their life. Just pursue God and allow Him to work within you. So guys, that's the end of today's video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it, because I sure did. So if you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section below. Other than that, please subscribe to the channel and check out the program at www.atthepotterswheel.com. Thank you guys. Join you next time.